Waking up at 3 a.m. after 50? 7 hidden health warnings you should never ignore. If you're over 50 and you keep waking up at exactly 3 o'clock in the morning, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen carefully. Because what I'm about to tell you may explain something that's been frustrating you for months, maybe even years. Most people assume waking up at 3 a.m. is simply a normal part of aging. They tell themselves, well, I'm getting older. This is probably just how life is now. But as a doctor who has spent years helping older adults understand what their bodies are trying to tell them, I can tell you something important. Waking up at the same time every night is not always random. In fact, it can be one of the clearest signals your body sends when something beneath the surface needs attention. And here's the part that surprises most people. The reason waking you up may have absolutely nothing to do with sleep. It could be your blood sugar, your breathing, your hormones, hidden inflammation, emotional stress, or a habit you've repeated every evening for years without realizing what it's doing to your body. Today, I'm going to reveal 7 hidden reasons your body may be pulling you out of sleep around 3 a.m. Some of them are surprisingly common. Some may shock you. And the final reason is something millions of adults over 50 do every single night, believing it's helping them sleep when it may actually be doing the exact opposite. So stay with me until the end, because the last reason is often the most overlooked and, for many people, the most important. Before we begin, welcome to the channel. I'm Dr. David. My mission is simple: helping adults over 50 stay healthy, independent, energetic, and informed. If that sounds like something you value, take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week I share practical health advice designed specifically for people who want to enjoy their later years with confidence and vitality. And while you're here, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from and how long you've been waking up during the night. Is it weeks, months, years? I read as many comments as possible, and your story may help someone else realize they're not alone. Now let's begin with reason number 7. This one is incredibly common, yet very few people ever hear about it. Your blood sugar may be dropping while you sleep. Imagine driving a car across a long stretch of highway. Everything runs smoothly as long as there's enough fuel in the tank. But when the fuel level drops too low, warning lights begin to appear. Your body works in a remarkably similar way. While you're sleeping, your brain, heart, lungs, and other organs continue working. They require a steady supply of energy throughout the night. That energy comes from glucose or blood sugar. The problem occurs when blood sugar falls too low during the night. This can happen if you eat dinner very early, skip an evening snack, consume a meal loaded with refined carbohydrates, or have certain medical conditions affecting blood sugar regulation. When blood sugar drops too low, your body activates an emergency response. It releases cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are designed to protect you by bringing blood sugar back up. The unfortunate side effect? They are incredibly effective at waking you up. Suddenly your eyes open. Your heart feels faster. Your mind becomes alert. Some people even feel anxious or restless without understanding why. One of my patients, a 67-year-old grandfather, described waking up every night around 3:20 a.m. He was convinced something was wrong with his heart. He had undergone multiple tests and everything looked normal. Eventually we discovered his evening meal consisted mostly of refined carbohydrates, and he often went 12 to 14 hours without eating. Once he adjusted his evening nutrition with guidance from his physician, those nightly awakenings became much less frequent. Now, if you have diabetes or take medications that affect blood sugar, please speak with your healthcare provider before making any dietary changes. But here's the key takeaway. Sometimes the problem isn't that your body can't sleep. Sometimes the problem is that your body is running low on fuel. And what makes this even more interesting is that blood sugar isn't the only thing capable of triggering an alarm inside your body. The next reason is something millions of people experience every night without even realizing it. Reason number 6. Your breathing may be interrupted while you sleep. This is one of the most serious causes on today's list because it affects much more than sleep. It can influence memory, mood, heart health, blood pressure, energy levels, and overall quality of life. I'm talking about sleep apnea. Here's what happens. As you fall asleep, the muscles in your throat naturally relax. In some people, those tissues partially block the airway. Airflow decreases. Oxygen levels begin to drop. Your brain immediately notices the change and sends out an emergency signal. It briefly wakes you up just enough to restart breathing. Most people never remember these awakenings, but their bodies experience them over and over again throughout the night. Think about trying to charge your phone while someone repeatedly unplugs it from the wall. The interruptions may only last a few seconds, but the battery never reaches a full charge. That's exactly what happens with sleep apnea. One woman in her early 70s came to see me because she felt exhausted every day. She blamed aging. Her family blamed aging. Even she had started accepting exhaustion as normal. But after undergoing a sleep study, she discovered she was stopping breathing dozens of times every hour. After treatment, she told me something I'll never forget. She said, "Dr. David, I didn't know how tired I was until I finally felt rested again. If you snore loudly, wake up with a dry mouth, experience morning headaches, struggle with daytime fatigue, or have a spouse who notices pauses in your breathing, please discuss this with your healthcare provider." Many sleep studies can now be completed at home, and treatment options have improved dramatically over the years. But here's something fascinating. Many people who have sleep apnea also wake up several times a night to use the bathroom. And that's where our next reason begins. Reason number 5, your bladder may not be the real problem. Be honest with me. How many times do you get up to use the bathroom every night? Once? Twice? 3 times? For many adults over 50, nighttime bathroom trips become so common that they stop questioning them. They simply assume it's part of getting older. But what if I told you that sometimes the bathroom isn't actually the thing waking you up? Sometimes it's merely the thing you notice after you've already awakened. This distinction matters because it changes how we think about the problem. Throughout the day, gravity pulls fluid into your lower legs and feet. Then, when you lie down at night, that fluid begins returning to circulation. Your kidneys process it. Your bladder fills. And somewhere between 2 and 4 in the morning, you find yourself heading to the bathroom once again. One patient told me she was convinced her bladder was causing her sleep issues. But after tracking her awakenings for several weeks, she realized she often woke up first and only then noticed she needed to urinate. Something else was disturbing her sleep before her bladder ever became involved. And that's exactly why the next reason is so important. Let's continue because what comes next may explain why so many people wake up at 3 a.m. even when they believe they've done everything right. Reason number 4, your stress hormone may be pulling you out of sleep hours before you're supposed to wake up. Most people have heard of cortisol. It's often called the stress hormone. But here's what many people don't know. Cortisol is also part of your body's natural wake-up system. Under healthy conditions, cortisol stays relatively low during most of the night and then gradually rises toward morning, helping you wake up feeling refreshed and alert. Think of it as a sunrise taking place inside your body. But what happens when stress rewrites that schedule? Instead of rising gently at 6 or 7 in the morning, cortisol may begin surging much earlier, sometimes around 3 o'clock in the morning. When that happens, your body behaves as if it's time to start the day. Your eyes open, your heart beats faster, your thoughts become active. Suddenly you're replaying conversations from years ago, worrying about tomorrow's appointments, thinking about your finances, your health, your family, or problems you can't solve at 3 in the morning anyway. Sound familiar? One retired teacher told me she woke every night at exactly 3:08 a.m. She checked the clock so often she practically knew the time before opening her eyes. She thought she had severe insomnia. But as we talked, a deeper picture emerged. Her husband had recently experienced serious health issues. She spent every day caring for him. She rarely complained. She rarely asked for help. She told everyone she was doing fine. Yet every night her body revealed what her words did not. She was carrying an enormous emotional burden. Once she began creating a calming bedtime routine and finding healthy ways to process her stress, her sleep gradually improved. Not overnight, not magically, but steadily. That's why I often remind my patients that sleep problems are not always caused by poor sleep habits. Sometimes they're caused by unresolved stress hiding in plain sight. Before we move to the next reason, I want to ask you something. When you wake up at night, what is the very first thought that enters your mind? Is it a worry, a responsibility, a fear? Let me know in the comments. You might be surprised by how many people share the same experience. Now let's talk about something many people overlook completely. Something that may be affecting your sleep every night without you realizing it. Reason number 3. Pain and inflammation may be quietly stealing your deep sleep. Here's an important truth. Pain doesn't need to be severe to disrupt sleep. In fact, some of the most sleep-disrupting discomfort is so mild that people barely notice it during the day. During daylight hours, your attention is focused elsewhere. You're talking with family, watching television, running errands, staying busy. But at 3 in the morning, the world becomes quiet. And when the world gets quieter, your body gets louder. That stiffness in your shoulders, the ache in your knees, the soreness in your lower back, the arthritis in your hands, the tension in your neck, the restless sensation in your legs. None of it may seem significant during the day. But during the night, even mild discomfort can be enough to pull you from deep restorative sleep into lighter sleep. Once that happens, waking up becomes much easier. A 74-year-old woman once told me she hadn't slept through the night in nearly 5 years. She assumed anxiety was the cause. She never considered pain because she wasn't suffering from severe pain. But after keeping a simple journal, she realized she woke up almost every night shortly after rolling onto her arthritic shoulder. It wasn't anxiety at all. It was discomfort she had learned to ignore during the day. After adjusting her sleeping position, incorporating gentle stretching, and working with her physician on pain management, she experienced the best sleep she'd had in years. The lesson is simple. Just because you've become accustomed to pain doesn't mean your body has. Sometimes your body continues reacting to discomfort long after you've stopped noticing it consciously. And now we've arrived at the second most important reason on today's list. This one is deeply personal. It affects millions of older adults. Yet many people never talk about it openly. Reason number 2. Anxiety, grief, loneliness, and emotional burdens may be surfacing while your defenses are down. During the day, life provides distractions. There are errands, routines, conversations, television programs, phone calls, appointments, and responsibilities. These distractions help keep difficult emotions in the background. But at 3 in the morning, everything changes. The house is quiet. The television is off. The phone isn't ringing. The world is asleep. And suddenly the emotions you've been carrying have room to speak. This isn't weakness. It's biology. During sleep, your brain doesn't simply rest. It processes memories, experiences, fears, and emotions. When there's unresolved emotional weight, your brain may become active enough to wake you up. The emotional burden may come from many places. It may be worry about your health, fear about losing independence, concern for your spouse, financial stress, family conflict, or grief that still lingers years after losing someone you loved. I'll never forget a widower who came to see me in his late 70s. He had lost his wife after nearly 50 years of marriage. During the day, he appeared strong. Friends admired how well he seemed to be coping. He stayed busy. He volunteered. He attended church. He smiled when people asked how he was doing. But every night at approximately 3 o'clock, he woke up. Sometimes he couldn't fall back asleep for hours. One day he told me something that broke my heart. He said, "Dr. David, I think my nights are the only time I stop pretending I'm okay." That statement stayed with me because it captures something many people experience but rarely say aloud. Sometimes your body carries emotions your mind has been trying to outrun. Eventually those emotions find a way to be heard. If this resonates with you, please understand that seeking support is not weakness. It is wisdom. Talking to a trusted friend, joining a support group, speaking with a counselor, spending time with loved ones, or simply writing your thoughts in a journal before bed can sometimes quiet the mind in ways medication alone cannot. And now we've reached the final reason. The one I told you about at the beginning. The reason that surprises almost everyone because it hides behind habits most people consider completely harmless. Reason number 1. Your evening routine may be quietly destroying your sleep architecture. Notice I didn't say caffeine. I didn't say alcohol. I didn't say television. Those things matter, but they're not the real issue. The real issue is something called sleep architecture. Sleep architecture refers to the structure and organization of your sleep cycles. Throughout the night, your brain moves through carefully timed stages of deep sleep, light sleep, and dream sleep. In a healthy pattern, the first half of the night contains more deep sleep. The second half contains more light sleep and dream sleep. And that's exactly why 3 o'clock in the morning becomes such an important time. By then, your sleep is naturally more fragile. You're already in lighter stages of sleep. Small disruptions that wouldn't have affected you earlier in the night can now wake you up completely. This is where evening habits become so important. Maybe you enjoy a cup of tea after dinner. Maybe you have a glass of wine before bed. Maybe you scroll through your phone while lying in bed. Maybe you watch the evening news right before turning off the lights. Maybe dinner happens at 9 o'clock instead of 6. Each habit may seem harmless by itself, but together they can quietly damage your sleep architecture. Let's start with caffeine. Many adults stop drinking coffee after lunch and assume they're safe. But they continue drinking black tea, green tea, energy drinks, or other beverages containing caffeine. What many people don't realize is that the body processes caffeine more slowly as we age. That evening beverage may still be affecting your nervous system at 3 o'clock in the morning. Alcohol presents a different problem. It often helps people fall asleep faster, which makes them believe it's helping. But falling asleep and staying asleep are not the same thing. Numerous studies have shown that alcohol disrupts the second half of sleep, exactly when many people find themselves waking up. Then there are screens. Phones, tablets, computers, and televisions expose your eyes to light that can interfere with melatonin production. Melatonin helps regulate your sleep cycle. When melatonin is disrupted, sleep often becomes less stable and more fragmented. Heavy meals can create problems as well. Your digestive system is supposed to be winding down at night. Large meals force it to keep working. That extra activity can contribute to discomfort, reflux, and lighter sleep. And don't overlook your sleep environment. A room that's too warm, too bright, or too noisy can make already fragile sleep even more vulnerable to disruption. Here's the encouraging news. You don't need expensive equipment or complicated treatments to improve sleep architecture. Small changes often produce remarkable results. Limit caffeine later in the day. Reduce alcohol. Dim lights in the evening. Put screens away before bed. Eat earlier when possible. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and comfortable. These simple adjustments protect the most fragile hours of sleep and may dramatically reduce those frustrating 3 a.m. awakenings. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. If you keep waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, your body isn't necessarily betraying you. More often, it's communicating with you. The message may involve blood sugar, breathing, bladder function, stress hormones, pain, emotional health, or evening habits. And in many cases, it's not just one factor. It's a combination of several. That's why lasting improvement often comes from making a series of small adjustments rather than searching for one magical solution. Let's quickly review the 7 reasons we discussed today. Number 7, blood sugar fluctuations. Number 6, sleep apnea and breathing interruptions. Number 5, nighttime urination and fluid shifts. Number 4, cortisol and stress hormone imbalances. Number 3, pain and inflammation. Number 2, emotional burdens such as anxiety, grief, and loneliness. And number 1, evening habits that damage sleep architecture. So here's my challenge for you. Don't try to fix everything tonight. Instead, choose one thing from this video. Just one. Maybe it's reducing caffeine. Maybe it's improving your bedtime routine. Maybe it's discussing sleep apnea with your doctor. Maybe it's finally addressing a source of stress you've been carrying for far too long. Start there. Give your body a chance to respond. You may be amazed by what happens over the next few days and weeks. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 reasons do you think is most likely affecting your sleep? Tell me in the comments below. Your answer may help someone else who has been searching for answers. If you found value in this video, please take a moment to like it and share it with a friend, spouse, neighbor, or family member who wakes up during the night and doesn't know why. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. Every week I share practical health information designed specifically for adults over 50 who want to stay strong, independent, and healthy for years to come. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, good sleep isn't a luxury. It's one of the most powerful investments you can make in your health, your memory, your energy, and your quality of life. Take care of yourself tonight. You deserve a good night's sleep. And I'll see you in the next video.